So we're just talking about we wanted to be really good parents, and we were inspired by a quote by Francis Chan. What was that quote?
If you want your kids to know and experience a real, true Jesus, then you have to put them in situations where they have to experience a real and true Jesus.
Jesus has to be real. We had been doing that, right, to the best of our ability, but we just felt like there was more, right?
I know we had seen more.
And I think that was the prayer. We tried to do it a couple different ways. We're involved with Ends of the Earth Cycling. Mm-hmm. Went to New York with our kids.
On an ends ride, yeah.
Right.
We got each other way.
Raising awareness for youth missions around the world. So we tried different avenues, and certainly we're involved, and our kids were involved and excited about that kind of thing. But it wasn't enough.
We felt like there was more.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that doing what we were doing was wrong or bad or not enough, because I don't believe that. But I think that it was more of just knowing that there was something different to experience on more of a global scale. Maybe that's just the word that is better to use to explain that. Yeah.
And so we began to pray, really, because we didn't know what else to do. We were inspired by Francis Chan. You know, Francis Chan is this other category of Christian. But we don't, so we didn't know what else to do other than just to pray.
Yeah.
We did not want to say anything to our kids because it was such a small community where we were, and we wanted to make sure that people knew that we were all in while we were there.
One of the things I started to do in our homeschool journey was to find stories of people living out Christianity in different contexts. Mm-hmm. So we started reading these missionary stories, these amazing missionary stories of, all these...
Jim Elliot and Nate Saint.
And Hudson Taylor and Bruchko. I don't know how. Bruchko. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I think it's Bruchko.
I've been corrected, and now I don't remember how I was corrected.
I don't know. I've always said Bruchko, but I'm a gringo.
I don't know. It's so embarrassing. I have no idea how to pronounce the name of the book. We read that book, and one of our kids was like, we had read the story of David Livingstone, and he was out in the middle of the jungle, and he got attacked by a lion. And we're done reading that chapter, and my kids were like, that really just happened. And one of my kids was like, I want to be like David Livingstone. If he can get attacked by a lion and God save him, then I want to do that. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, I want to be a missionary. Like, that would be so cool. I need to do that. And so that was just like okay. I just tucked that away, and I text Matt real quick. I'm like, guess what he just said? And then one of our other kids,
he comes in from summer camp, his very first summer camp. He tells us that he feels like God's calling him to be a missionary to this unreached people group. I can't even pronounce their names. Like, he can tell you all about them. And he just felt like God opened up a door, like a window to his future.
And he came to us all on his own to tell us that. That was
came in our room. It's just
very emotional.
It was very personal.
And then when we were all trapped in our house during the months of COVID, we were trying to think of random activities to do. Right. And one of the activities that I think you came up with was like, let's just write down like a fun, what do we do in 5 years kind of thing.
It wasn't spiritual.
He was not trying to make it some big thing. Yeah. He legit said, like, I want to ride a roller coaster, or I want to eat 12 scoops of ice cream, or I don't even know.
Sunday, yeah. It would have to be ice cream.
It was literally something silly. Like, this was not like a pat your back parenting moment.
Right.
But one of our daughters was like, Dad, can you please tell me how to spell the word missionary? And Matt was like, what? And she said, yeah, I'm writing, I want to be a missionary. And again, both Matt and I just looked at each other and were like,
who does this?
Right. And then our other daughter just became fascinated with the culture of South America and talked about it all the time, wrote about it, drew about it, and just talked about loving that culture and wanting to visit South America. And they were just all moments that kind of just came like little teeny tiny, insignificant moments that became significant to us because we were praying without them knowing that we were praying about it.
Yeah.
So we just kind of the little
So we like
things
got
tucked
all of
away.
those, like really cool yeses. Like just kind of maybe it just like kept putting a brick of faith down, as we started to try to figure out a path. We continued to pray. We talked to more friends. And then we even interviewed with a missions organization, and then it kind of felt like that door wasn't going to open. And so it's like, what are we supposed to do in these situations? And
Very uncomfortable time of trying to figure it all out, and trying to find our place, I guess. I don't know.
so we waited. And that's really like the end of this part of the story is
Yeah.
we were just left waiting.
Yeah.
And, I just thought of this, something that's always been significant to me, that I heard Andy Stanley say, not to think that God's silence is his absence. And that was a lesson that we had to learn during that time, was that even though there was silence on the green lights, he was still with us through that time. And I think our faith was really built because when the ball did start rolling, it went really so
fast.
Good.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll talk.